Hello, this is Craig Brailsford with RedChip Companies. Thank you for joining today's event with FatPipe, which trades on the Nasdaq under the ticker FATN. With us today, we have Ragula Bhaskar, co-founder and chief executive officer of FatPipe, and Sanch Datta, co-founder and chief technology officer. We will begin with a brief presentation in a moment, and then we will answer your questions. Users may submit a question at any time by using the Q&A tool at the bottom of the Zoom window. Before we begin, please allow me to read the Safe Harbor statement. This call may contain forward-looking statements within the meaning of the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. All statements pertaining to future financial and/or operating results, along with other statements about the future expectations, beliefs, goals, plans, or prospects expressed by management, constitute forward-looking statements. Any statements that are not historical fact should also be considered forward-looking statements. Of course, forward-looking statements involve risks and uncertainties. I now turn the webinar over to Bhaskar and Sanch. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a good day so far. Let me introduce my co-founder, Sanch Datta. She's the inventor of a technology now called SD-WAN, Software-Defined Wide Area Network. That was a revolutionary technology that has made a massive difference in the area of networking, especially corporate networking. So what does FatPipe do? We develop enterprise-class software that provides secure connectivity, reliability, and network visibility for customers. You have the usual disclaimer. So in a nutshell, what do? Our data communication software combines multiple data lines from multiple data carriers with any last mile connection, including 5G, satellite, MPLS, whatever. We combine them into one single corporate network anywhere in the world, which means you're a corporation, you could be located anywhere or have offices anywhere, and we can make them all work with a 99.999% network reliability and connectivity. In addition, we provide the highest level of wide area transmission security. So that's what we do, and we do it better than anybody else in the world. Here's an example. This is a survey conducted of customers by a company called Software Reviews. It's an independent survey that was conducted in 23 and 24. As you can see, FatPipe has the highest rating compared to a Cisco or a VMware or other products. What is more important, if you look in the bottom left, 100% of the customers in that survey said they plan to renew their subscription, and 96% said that they would be happy to recommend. And that is what we look for. We want to provide the very best product in the market and back it up with the best service possible. This is another survey by a company called Gartner. In this, they compared FatPipe with Cisco, Meraki, and VeloCloud, which is VMware. And as you can see, in every single individual category of ratings, FatPipe had the best rating, highest rating. And of course, in the analysis, they also say great things about FatPipe. Bottom line, we are a company with a solid product and a solid reputation. So what do? Let's say you're a financial institution and you're sending, running checks through the SWIFT system or through the Federal Reserve. We make sure that check actually gets through. Even if a line goes down, that check goes through on another line. That's what we do. You could be a 911 emergency center and somebody calls in asking for help. With FatPipe, if one of the lines they're calling in goes down, we can seamlessly, in a sub-second, switch over to another line and that call goes through. It could be a hospital in an ER. The doctor's trying to access the medical records of this patient. We ensure he can access those records. So that's what we do. Network reliability, network redundancy, highest combined speed, and security. Last year, we had a 13% growth rate. The previous year growth rate was much higher. Our typical EBITDA is around 35%. Our plan is to keep it around 30%. We have more than 3,000 customers we are sold to, 90% plus gross margins because it's a software. And the typical contracts are 36 months, some 60 months. We have more than 100 active partners. And our goal with the money we raise is to grow these partners, make them more active, and make them more productive for us. Our market focus is primarily America, because that's the world's largest market, and then extended to Canada and Mexico, and also in India. And we are dabbling in Southeast Asia, but our primary market is North America, where 95% of our business comes, and to some extent, India, because we have a back office and development center there. So what drives our product? We provide a very simple solution, even though it's a complex product. To give you an idea, we have more than 2.4 million lines of code. To put it in perspective, the F-35, the helmet has only 1.35 million lines of code. So it's a very sophisticated product. However, the customer does not have to see that level of technology. They only have to see a simplified solution. We provide a seamless network for the company anywhere in the world. We provide a fail-proof infrastructure that I mentioned and a very highly secure network connectivity. So what are the products we sell? The technology called SD-WAN that we invented. This technology called SASE, which is cloud-based solutions for the same network we are talking about. Cybersecurity provides all the cybersecurity you need to run your company, and something called SIEM, S-I-E-M, which is for compliance management. And lastly, we do monitor the network, both the network and the security of the network. This is what a network diagram looks like. You'll have offices, branches, cloud, data center, and a backup center. We ensure all of them work in cohesion as a seamless single network. This is an interesting example of what we can do. When I say switching, we do it in a sub-second. This is all for wide area networks, nothing to do with your local switch that runs your local area network and your computer. Everything is wide area. Here's an example of the University of Oxford. They had a consortium with the European Space Agency, Virgin Media, Hispasat, and they selected FatPipe over Cisco and over VMware and others. They selected us because we had the best sub-second switching technology. What do you mean by switching? We can switch you between different data lines from different carriers. And one of the results of the study said, without FatPipe, they were out of coverage for this autonomous vehicle 10 to 20% of the time. With FatPipe, they were 99% of the time in contact with the vehicle. That makes a big difference when you're running an autonomous vehicle. Here's an example where you see a vehicle traversing from one end to the other, and as the best available connection is there, they latch onto that, and the moment they leave that zone of influence, they latch onto the next available, which could be a LEO satellite, low Earth satellite like a Starlink, or a geo satellite like Inmarsat or Eutelsat. That's what that gives you the essence of what our technology does. Then what do we provide in addition? Not only do we transmit the data faster, better, and secure, we also provide network security for your own network, where we sit at the edge of your network. We provide all the features you need to make sure that people can't barge into your system. We manage it, we monitor it, and we firewall it. We also provide full cybersecurity solution, a single stack. What is the advantage of single stack? You don't have to run to 5 different vendors like you do now. You come to FatPipe, it's a single offering. When you go to a big company, they might have bought 5 different security vendors, in which case they have a kludgy system. By the time you configure it, you're ready to retire. With FatPipe, it's a single call, one call, that's all. We configure a network, your network security, and your cybersecurity. And if you're a larger company, or you need to comply with various requirements like PCI, if you're processing credit card, or if you're a hospital and you're processing patient information, or a healthcare-related company, we ensure that we monitor what goes out of the company. We do something called DLP, data loss prevention. We monitor all the keywords, types of keywords like social security number, uh, anything else that you as a customer wants to see. We make sure that we monitor that. We also monitor virus. When you go to a website, we read each line, each sentence, each word, and see if there's a virus attached to it. So, and then we make sure that you don't have a DDoS attack. So when you have people trying to break in from, say, North Korea or wherever, we ensure that those attacks are repaired. So our job is to give you a safe network so that you can sleep better as a network admin. So this is how the output looks like. This is for network monitoring. It's hard to read some of those letters, but essentially we monitor, we micromanage your network. We can see everything that's going on, your jitter, your latency, and we have technology for modes of communication like Starlink or Inmarsat, where because of cloud cover and things, you will have something called jitter and latency. We have technology that ensures that while you're transmitting a large file, your file doesn't break down in the middle of the transmission and you have to restart it. With FatPipe, we manage it so that even if there's a jitter and latency, we manage to send that through without dropping the entire file. Here's another example of monitoring large sets of networks, locations. This is cybersecurity. Again, as you see, I know I don't want to get into the details, but essentially we monitor any DDoS attacks, we monitor users, we monitor threats, anything and everything that you need to monitor. We also monitor something called SSL VPN traffic, which means if you have remote employees, we monitor their access. We monitor when they logged in, when they logged out, what did they do in between. So essentially, this is also a productivity tool for different IT people to see if an employee is actually working the full 8 hours lunch. This is the SIM, Security Information Event Management. We look for various attacks, various threats, and then we monitor that. We can even shut off access. So you, the customer, decide at what level you're going to stop those threats, whether you're going to inform or you're going to shut it off. So that is pretty much what we do. In terms of users, it's across the board. People always ask, what type of customers? Pretty much across the board. The economy dictates the customers. So we have a strong IP portfolio, as we said earlier. We invented this category of networking called SD-WAN. So because of that, we had the first mover advantage. And we developed a lot of technology, 14 patents, 13 very active patents where we can do a lot of stuff that others can do, which gives us the advantage when it comes to rating of products. We are rated better because we have the more patented and proprietary technologies. In terms of executive team, Sanj and I are the co-founders. We also have 6 vice presidents now and a full-time CFO. And they are helping us run the company. We hired 2 senior vice presidents recently, very close to the IPO time, so that we can expand our sales team. We have a very good board of directors. One is an operator. He had operated a 17 factory company for Tata Industries in India. They supply components for all the major car makers and for JLR, Jaguar Land Rover. Bobby Majumdar is a good corporate and a securities attorney, and he's one of the best there is. And Jean Turgeon was a former chief technologist for Avaya, and most recently he was a CTO and CIO of NTT Cloud. So we have a technologist, a lawyer, and an operator. Use of proceeds, hire salespeople and sell, and sell. That's really what it is about, because the product is paying for itself. We are a profitable company. We are a cash flow positive company. So the extra cash that's coming and is going to go into sales. Another important thing is we are, since our 36-month contracts are rolling over, our 2022 contracts are rolling over into 25. 23 contracts will roll over into 26. So you're going to see an acceleration of sales, hopefully. With the current sales team, which was about 12 to 13, we are going to have 28 salespeople. So we're going to double our sales team, primarily in the US. So current sales team is going to produce what they're producing as sales. The new team will add more customers, and the rollover of contracts will add to the sales top line and bottom line. So I'll skip this for a minute. So essentially, that's what we do. Any questions, I would be happy to answer them. Or if the moderator would like to collect all the questions and summarize them for me, I would be very happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Bhaskar. That's right. We are now taking your questions. Press the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom window and type in your question. We can only accept your written questions today, so please don't use the raise hand button, but only the Q&A button, and then type in your question in the text box. We will read it aloud. We already have some questions submitted. Bhaskar, who is your typical customer you are currently selling your suite of products to?
Our focus market is SMB, small and medium businesses, up to $1 billion in sales, but 500 plus employees. And as I showed on the screen earlier, our customers span the economy. So we have government, we have local government, counties, cities, state. We have financial institutions, manufacturing, services, pretty much any company that contributes to the economy. Those are the categories we serve. So it's highly distributed.
Thank you, Bhaskar. You have a high customer retention. What makes your customers continue to want to renew and work with FatPipe?
Going back to our basics, we believe that we have to put the very best product out there, the very best product with the very best features, and back it up with the best service. We have been living with that motto for the last couple of decades. And as you see in the independent surveys conducted by different companies, including Gartner, for which we did not pay, our customers rank us as the number one product and the number one service and a good company to work with. And that's really what it takes to retain customers.
Bhaskar, given the company's 90+% gross margins, what specific strategies has FatPipe implemented to maintain such high profitability in a competitive market?
Number one, when you have really good technology, unique technology, you can compete against the other guys, especially the bigger companies, because bigger companies are not as innovative. So we are able to price our product higher because we provide more value. So when I say higher, it doesn't mean that our customer pays more for less. He pays more for a lot more. And that is the value add we bring to the table. That's most important. Number two is managing your cost. You have to relentlessly manage your cost. For instance, we have 2 automation engineers in the company our size. So we look around for everything that we can automate, whether it's accounts, whether it is testing, whether it's marketing, whether it's sales support. We try to automate that. We also use AI, ChatGPT, Claude AI, different types of AI products for different parts of the company. For instance, in engineering, code development, we use Claude AI because it's more suitable for programming. We use ChatGPT for marketing. And we write our own software for automation using different programming languages. So 2 things. Number one, price it properly for the value you bring to the customer. Number 2, make sure that you control your cost.
You went public in early April in 2025. What are your plans for the proceeds from the IPO?
Very simple. Hire more salespeople, qualified, experienced salespeople, and help them build their sales. And number 2, focus on increasing the marketing to get more sales out of them.
How does FatPipe's patented technology, specifically, as you said, in multipath routing, failover, and encryption, differentiate it from other SD-WAN providers in the market?
Very, very much exactly what you just said. We have very unique technology. Because we are the first movers, we have been able to add more and more technology that benefits the customer. A simple example is when I was in Mexico visiting customers, there was a pharmacy and they said they were buying low cost ISP lines, internet lines, where the IP address keeps rotating because they could not afford to pay $85 per line to Telmex. So I came back and we sat with Sanj and we developed something called rotating IP technology, which we patented. Then we're talking to another customer and they said, I have this dark fiber. And anytime the main line goes down, I go connect the fiber and activate it. And we were like, why do you have to do something manually when we can automate it? So we developed a patented process where we can take something called layer 2 technology and automate it so that both the dark fiber can also be kept active on the ready if a customer needs it. So we have developed different technologies listening to the customer. But most important is you don't listen to the customer telling you what he wants or she wants. You anticipate the problem when the customer is complaining about a problem. And you say, how do I solve the problem? When you find a way to solve it, it's usually very unique. You file a patent. Or nowadays, we keep a lot of that proprietary because we can embed it in the code and people won't know what we are doing in terms of uniqueness.
This person asks, your all-in-one SD-WAN platform,
Uh,
how does it address the specific needs of industries like government, healthcare, retail, very different types of industries? Are there any unique features tailored to those verticals?
yeah. There's we have so much technology that depending on the customer, they can configure the box. The same box goes to all the customers. But let us say you're a 911 center. For instance, we run a big county in the Midwest where there are 83 911 centers. They are most interested in wide traffic coming in. In that case, we tune it for that. In the case of this UK Space Agency and University of Oxford testing that they did with autonomous vehicles, we fine tune it for their needs. Essentially, it's configuration management. Or you may have government with flat networks, in which case you configure it for them. So same product, just configuration in the box that makes it differentiated for different markets. If you're a big call center, our technology works for call centers. For instance, we have a big, I think, number one or number two consulting company in the world, and they needed a data center to backup center, uh, real-time backup. They needed a total of 100 gigabit one way, which is 200 gigabits of traffic. We beat out a very major networking provider to provide our product because the technology we had was superior to them. So depending on the market, depending on the customer situation, we just configure it differently.
Could you elaborate on your short-term expectations for the company?
The short term, I define short term as the next 12 months. Our goal is to deploy capital very efficiently, very carefully. We want to hire a sales team, deploy them in different parts of the country and some in India and Philippines, and make sure they're very productive, back them up with our marketing team that's based in India to give them all the help they need in marketing the product so that the sales guys are focused on selling and closing. That is my goal to make sure and then make sure the customer rollover happens at a high level. And that way it increases our top line and our bottom. That's my goal right now.
Have you considered acquisitions?
Uh, we can look at it, but what we did is buy versus make concept. Similarly, do we invest our capital? Is our capital better invested in our own growth versus buying? And we find that a dollar invested in hiring another salesperson is going to get me a lot more sales, long-term sales, and highly profitable sales compared to say acquiring a company. Because when you acquire somebody, they know more than you about their company, We don't know what are the hidden skeletons are there in the closet, and they will be asking for a lot of money, which means my capital may not be efficiently invested. So if you ask me today, I'm focused just on building my sales team and my sales.
Reminder that if you have a question for the team here, you can press the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. A text box will appear, and you can then type in your question for FatPipe. Bhaskar, FatPipe's subscription-based software model offers significant recurring revenue. How does this model contribute to the company's financial stability, especially in comparison to more traditional licensing models?
Actually, that's a good question, and I'm glad we were able to transition into this recurring revenue model. It gives me peace of mind. It gives me I sleep better. The reason for that is I can predict my revenues for the next several years. Part of the reason why we decided to go public was for just that. After we switched to the recurring revenue model, we were able to predict what our sales are going to be with the current customer growth, with our sales team producing, and also being able to predict what our new salespeople will be able to add to the top line. And then we saw that the rollovers of the 22 contract, the 23 contract into next year, we found that we'll be acceleration in growth, an increase in our cash flow. And we felt that this was the most appropriate time to go public because we can support the product and the stock price. That's really why we felt this was the best time to go public. Predictability.
Bhaskar, when do you report earnings and why have you decided to go public? Why did you decide to go public in early April?
We went public because we felt it was time to go public. The reason, like I said just a few minutes ago, the sales were growing, the margins were holding, the rollovers were happening, which means our growth would be higher. We could retain the margins, and we will be able to attract people and get the additional publicity that we get with being public. We are getting a lot of publicity, free publicity, if you will. And also, if you look at a website, web heads, people visiting a website, it has gone up dramatically. All of the stuff that is good for the company and good for our investors, I feel good about it, really.
Bhaskar, could you summarize your cap table for us, please?
Uh-huh. It's all common stock, about 14 million, 13 point some million shares. That's it. Straight common, dead common stocks. So my stock is the same as the people listening to this broadcast.
And just to reiterate, would there be any debt? What's the debt level and dates of any maturing debt?
Yeah. The SBA gave us a working capital loan. It's a 10-year loan. So it's spread over the next 10 years. It was a $5 million loan. And it's a fixed interest rate. Spread, like I said, paid monthly over the next 10 years. So we don't have to worry about anything coming due anytime soon. It'll be coming due in 2034. But it'll be paid over a long period of time. It's not coming due at one number. There's no balloon payment.
Thank you very much, Bhaskar. One person asks, do you tend to get price increases on renewal contracts?
We can. The way we try to do that is to add more features to the customer, sell them more features and charge them more for it. For instance, when the cybersecurity product that was announced about a month ago, as we roll that out from the same customer, we can add value, give them something they need, and then charge them for it.
How much of your sales is generated by 100 partners, and how does a partnership work?
Give you an example. Let's say you're a partner. You have a set customer base. And when I train you on FatPipe and the value that, you will take me to your customers that are appropriate, and you will sell to them. I give you a discounted off the list price. You mark it up, you sell. And you make your profit there in the markup, and I make my profit selling you the product. It's a simple, like for instance, I have CDW, I have a big telco, I have zones inside, and your local networking, some of your top local networking resellers, like in upstate New York, First Light, they're all partners of ours. Internationally, it's the same thing. There are partners. And again, we have more than 100 partners, about 100 are active. There's a 80-20 rule. 20% of the partners will bring you 80% of the revenues.
And our final question today, who is your customer regarding autonomous driving and how much revenue does that service generate?
Autonomous vehicle driving, it was a proof of concept by the consortium. They showed that it can be done. It's a technology that's viable. And so it was a proof of concept. They published it so that other companies can pick that up. Part of the investment that I got from our new investors is to hire a person who can focus on how he or she can bring in customers into for that technology. But it's the same technology that you will be buying from me. It's just an application where a FatPipe will go into an autonomous vehicle, and the rest of it is programming.
Bhaskar, Sanj, thank you very much. Let me just say a few more words. For more information about FatPipe participants, please reach us at 1-800-REDCHIP, 1-800-REDCHIP, or email us at fatn@redchip.com. Visit RedChip's investor information page for FatPipe. It's fatninfo.com. There you can view and download the investor presentation and fact sheet and sign up for news alerts on FatPipe. RedChip is excited to announce the launch of Red Chat, our advanced AI assistant designed to empower investors with instant, in-depth insights on thousands of small cap and microcap stocks. Try it now on fatninfo.com or go to red.chat. Watch Small Stocks, Big Money, RedChip's program featuring exciting small cap companies every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Bloomberg USA. And finally, join RedChip's next webinar with Nexalin on Tuesday, June 3rd at 4:15 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Register for all RedChip webinars at redchip.com/events. Thanks again to our many participants today, and thank you, Bhaskar and Sanj.
Thank you very much. I
Thank
really
you,
appreciate it.
everyone.